All right, so in this video, I'll actually talk about my experience with converting over from Google Drive over to OneDrive. Now, I'm actually moving about 683 gig of data. Most of that is going to be split into three main categories. It's going to be my documents, that's where all my files live. And then I have my photos library, that's, taking pictures and all this other good stuff. And then also my video library, because I do a lot of recordings like this, and then also a lot of videos with my church, and most of that is going to be stored in my videos library. So I'm looking to convert all of this over to Google Drive, and I started that process last Friday, probably around 6, about 8, actually 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And right now, I just want to get my Documents files up there, everything in my Documents folder up there. I went and installed the OneDrive client for business, and then also and really just start moving files from a folder to folder, right? So once I installed the OneDrive client for business, I get the blue cloud folder, and then it's listed out. It's a little bit irritating because I got two now. I got one for personal, one for OneDrive. So I'm copying and pasting all these files over from my documents folder. And the first thing I encounter is the file path length, right? And that's just folder to folder copy. And then, but the I was probably, I don't know, out of 71,000 files that I'm moving, I would say it probably was, 60 or so that were file path too long, but none of those 60 were core files. They were like images or something like that were buried in subdirectory. So I was okay with removing those. The other issue that I encountered was, and I didn't realize this was an issue, and I heard it several times through the MS Ignite videos, that they fixed the hashtag and the percentage character in the file name, which is a big issue. And that issue is happening on the sync process, right? So imagine I got folder to folder from my documents to the blue cloud folder structure, and I'm just mimicking structure to structure. And then for anything that's in that blue cloud is going to sync up to O365 OneDrive. And in that sync to the OneDrive is actually where I get the percentage and the hashtag character. And basically, I mean, I'm not going to lose that file, unlike the path to path, the lone path issue. I'm not going to lose it. It's still going to be on my laptop, but it's going to be laptop only until I get those bits to upgrade. Now, talking about the bits to upgrade, right? Obviously, well, not obviously, I do have my tenant set up to first release, right? And that's how I get the latest and greatest bits. And having it set up to first release, I'm realizing that there's three main components to this equation that you have to have first release. One, I really wanted to take advantage or check out, because I was actually blown away by it, was the tap feature in Word. And I believe that tap feature is in Excel as well. And then the design ideas feature that's in PowerPoint. So I wanted to play around with those. Though I had 2016 installed, and I believe I had a personal license because it came with my Asus laptop, right? So, I believe I was personal licensed, but whatever, it wasn't connected to my O365 tenant. And apparently, you have to have though the office from your tenant in order to see some of these first release or pre-GA type features. So in order to play around with that, I had to upgrade from E1 to E3. Another reason why, related to the sync project or trial PLC that I'm working through, in order to edit the files on your mobile device, you have to have E3, right? You have to have the Office thick client or licensing from your tenant, which is available in E3 and not E1. So that's another reason why I'm glad I upgraded to E3. Now, as far as syncing, it's still I'm syncing now, right? I mean, this is Sunday night, 10 p.m., and I started this Friday night at 8 p.m. Now, Friday night was kind of a wash, right? Whilst I was up and, playing around with it, getting everything configured, the idea was to let this thing sync overnight. And Saturday morning, actually, I got busy Saturday morning, so I didn't get a chance to look at it until like Saturday afternoon around 3 or 4, and my laptop was sleeping. And then I was like, oh crap, I forgot to update the power options, right? So with the power option plugged in, and this may be the default, I don't remember changing it, but you know, being a laptop, you got the battery, or if it's plugged in. If it's plugged in, it goes to sleep after 4 hours. So it was syncing for 4 hours, or you know, trying to push everything up to the cloud for 4 hours. Then after that, it went to sleep, and it was sleeping until like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Saturday. So I lost a lot of time because of that. And now I'm under the gun because it's 10 p.m. Sunday, and I really need a lot of these files to be available or synced up, just because, you know, it's the beginning of the work week, right? So, but as far as, you know, so the sync piece is going to happen. Now, once you're on the mobile, now one of the things I didn't realize, I was actually interesting. I can't say I was surprised. I can't say it was an issue. It was just interesting. And basically what it is that you have to install the respective client for all the file types that you want to view. In the sense of, I had to install an Excel app from the Android Play Store, and from an Android Play Store. And let's talk about my mobile device. I'm using the Galaxy S7, just upgraded. Sweet, actually looks pretty similar to S6. The camera is awesome on the S7, by the way. But actually, I think the S7 is a little bit slower than the S6. And maybe I just need to wipe it clean and only, you know, get rid of all the trial stuff and the pre apps that T-Mobile force you to have. So, but that's neither here or there. But you know, dealing with but I think the Android version, becomes important when you sort of select the Office apps that you want to install. Now, I believe there is some Microsoft Office app, right? But you know, while I was reading the description, it says, hey, if you're 4.0 or 4.1, whatever it is, or earlier, use this. But if you're 4. Whatever or later, there are separate, you know, apps and stuff like that. So there's a big warning on there. So just be mindful of the version of Android that you have and which Microsoft app that you're installing to view the Office files. So I went ahead and downloaded the Excel, the PowerPoint, and Word individually, and the OneNote individually. And now if I see those files in my OneDrive, if I click on it, it loads up in its respective app based on the file type. Now, the loading is a bit slow. Now, I was actually pretty surprised about that. On average, it's taking me 7 to 8 seconds to view a document. Now, I can't say that's the technology. It may be because, I mean, just dealing with SharePoint, understanding how you're getting this thing to be responsive and fast. I'm thinking it's a search index issue. So basically, there's two pieces. I'm going to wait until Wednesday, Thursday of this week, and then reevaluate to see exactly where we stand. But I'm figuring that, and this is just me guessing, that I'm thinking it's a search issue. So I have to get these, you know, gigs of data up in the cloud, and then I have to wait for search index to index all of these documents and then make them available. Then I will be able to report back and say, yeah, the OneDrive is actually pretty slower than the Google Drive. So, you know, we'll go from there, especially with opening files. And, you know, to me, I think that's a big deal, right? Because if you're on the go and sitting there, I mean, 8 seconds is a lot. In this new digital era where things are just flying like this back and forth. So we'll see. But right now I'm chalking it up to say, hey, you know, I'm in the middle of migrating, right? And I have to wait till the search catch up, and I have to get all my files up there and yada, yada, yada. Speaking of getting all my files up there, now I'm a heavy OneNote user, right? I have, you know, multiple notebooks. I got multiple sections within the book. I got sub pages within the section, yada, yada, yada. Very heavy, leverage search a lot to capture notes and things like that. So when I'm in a meeting, when I'm in a client meeting, that's all I'm doing. I'm OneNote. Having that synced up to your mobile device is priceless, right? Because before this merger between the two and migrating the O365 and getting a mobile client and all other good stuff, I have my separate notes for OneNote. I don't even think I was using OneNote. I think I was just using like a Google document to capture notes, and then use the OneDrive file. I'm used to the Google Drive file, go to that document, copy those off, and paste them when I get to the laptop. So having all my notes together, having all my sections and subpages all together and synchronized is, to me, I think is a godsend. So I really love that fact of it. But I noticed that once I moved my OneNote file from files, right? I mean, this is now starting to appreciate how OneNote is put together. It seems like each section is its own file. So anyway, I'm moving these sections down. I'm moving this OneNote file down, and not individually. I'm just grabbing a chunk of folders and dropping them. And then I went into my OneNote, and I finally got it synced up, because at first it said, everything was empty, and I didn't panic, because, just wiping my laptop cleaner and reinstalling it. I ran into this, this OneNote, finding the right file issue before. So once I've located the file in this new location under the blue cloud directory, I was clicking on the section, and now I'm getting this error. I mean, some of my sections are there. I can see them, but when I click on it, it says this section has not synced yet, and I get that error. So now, I mean, that's part of the sync process. And if I'm looking at it now, as far as OneDrive, I am at, it looks like I'm down to the last 23.6 gig. Again, this is all only for my documents. And I'm 16.5 gig of the 23 left. So it says it's like 18,500 files left to be synced. So, I have to wait till that gets synced. And surprisingly, the file is there locally, but even in my laptop OneNote, I'm getting the error that the file hasn't been synced yet. I expect it on my mobile, but not on my laptop. So that's interesting. But it's worth it, right? Because, I mean, now they have all my, notes and my mobile device and on my laptop is pricey. And I also have a Samsung tab. It's like 12.1 tab or something like that. I hardly ever use it, but I got something, a big screen for reading. And I would do a lot more reading and MS Ignite videos, because there are a ton of videos. What else? Oh, on the mobile, the different file types are interesting, right? So I'm covered with the Office, because I got the respective apps for that. For the PDF, I was actually using, because it was already installed and I was working with Google Drive, there's a Google PDF viewer, and it obviously it is cohesive and it works great with Google Drive. But by default, was still, and that was my default viewer for all PDF file types. Things were working slow. So PDFs were always loading slow. I would get like the thumbnail image, and then once it was loaded, it will blow up, and then I can pinch and zoom and stuff like that to make it more readable. But out of all the file types, that was the one that was still taking 10 to 15 seconds to load, and it was very irritating. So what I ended up doing was went to the Play Store, looked for another viewer, and I saw the Adobe PDF viewer. I installed that, and then I had to go into settings and tell the Google viewer, PDF viewer, not to be the default, and force it to allow me to select another default. But things loaded much faster. So that's, maybe it's these different file types, right? You have to make sure you have the right app to view those file types, understanding that your OneDrive is just going to be a data source. It's not going to have all the apps in it to view all the different file types. And this is something I'm just learning, right? I think we're just kind of used to mobile apps being all inclusive, and everything you need for that app to run is there. But now you're starting to see that, hey, I'm just a data provider. To view it, you need this app, this app, this app, this app, which is very interesting. With that, MP4 streams fine. Right, I can scrub it. I don't have to download the entire file, and that's one thing that I'm very concerned with, right? Because now I'm putting 3/4 of a terabyte in the O365 OneDrive. I don't have 3/4 of a terabyte on my mobile device. I do have it on my laptop, but not on my mobile device. So as I'm bringing these files down, and I can see it downloading, right? Even when I open up a Word document, stuff like that, the first 5 seconds it says downloading. And and I haven't done anything sizable. Maybe I can go find something like a Word document that has a bunch of images or something that maybe like 120 meg. It'd be very interesting to see if I have to download that whole 120 meg before I view the document, right? And then once I'm finished with the document, what happens to that download? I mean, is it cached and it's recycled, as I'm just pushing it in, or is it going to be consuming my 32 gig of storage that I have on my device now? Which I'm very limited, right? And I actually, to record this video, I think I only have 5 more minutes left before I actually run out of storage with recording this video. So, that's another thing that I'm very cautious of. And I want to keep monitoring this to see exactly what's happening when I'm downloading these files, and do I get to reuse that space once I'm done with the file, because I'm not using the offline sync option, right? I'm just viewing these files and it's taking me through this download. Now, I do have MP3 files part of the mix, and those are making me, so far, I haven't been able to find an MP3 app that allow me to stream it very similar to where I'm streaming the video file. So for the MP3 files, I have to download the entire file, and then I got like an MP3 player. Then it starts to play it, but that's pretty unfortunate. So hopefully I can get that downloaded. So real quick, again, before I run out of time on this video, oh yeah, so the things I love here, and I have my notes here on my laptop. I love the recent sync, right? Recent as in, if I pull up a Word document on my mobile phone, it brings up in Word, obviously. I can work with it, interact with it. Go to my laptop, bring up Word. And again, this is why I think you need Office synced up with O365 versus a personal license that probably came with your laptop. Because when I go to Word now, that file that I just opened on my mobile device is recent in the Microsoft Word app, thick client on my laptop. Very cool, right? Because if I'm working with a document, then I go to my laptop, I don't have to go searching for, remember which folder I saved it in, yada, yada, yada. Very cool option. I love the OneNote, having all my sections, all that stuff synced up. Starting to get used to the OneNote badge, right? Because you know how Facebook is. If you leave a message, you get the little circle, especially for Android. So I'm not sure how it is on iPhone, but you get the little circle. Now I have one of those circles for OneNote. I can click on it, take a quick note. My phone could be locked. I saw that, the badge was available. I can take a quick note without unlocking my phone, which I thought was really cool. So, I have that going for me. What else do I like? Oh, I think search is going to be a big hit. Again, I'm not going to get into the search wars with Google versus Bing or who has the best algorithm, stuff like that. I know SharePoint search is pretty decent, especially with the fact that it indexes inside the files. So wherever you're searching on, it's either going to be in the title or actually in the file, as well as the metadata that I can set up on, a library in general. Still waiting for search to be fully indexed, right? I think, prior to that, I got to have all my files up there first, and then search to be fully indexed. So I'm really looking to take advantage of that. Now, the one feature I did not see was the sync preview, right? And basically with the sync preview, you can view your files. And I'm not sure if this is going to be on mobile or if this is going to be a laptop only thing, but I'm really looking forward to the fact that, if I had something in the cloud only, and right now that scenario probably won't even work for me, because all the files that I'm sourcing to the cloud are sourced from my laptop. So right now, I shouldn't expect to see anything in the cloud over time, sure, but anything in the cloud that's not on my local laptop, I think that sync preview is going to be key. As far as like the mobile app, the OneDrive app itself, there is a preview for that. I have to sign up for the Google Play Store preview program or something like that. Very similar to where you did. I downloaded, because I recently downloaded the SharePoint app, right, which is like the internet. You call talk about the internet in your pocket and all those other good stuff. So I downloaded that from Android, and then they had bold letters or a description or a bar that says, hey, this is preview mode, is maybe unstable, yada yada yada, that type deal. But I have to do the same for OneDrive. Right now, I'm not. It doesn't seem like I'm running the latest bits for OneDrive. So I want to get into that, so that way, let's see if some of my issues kind of go away from there. So I'll do another update probably in a few days. I really want to get all my files up there and get it search and the opportunity to index and get fully indexed before I really start to flag to say, hey, viewing documents actually kind of suck, because that 7-8 seconds load time is pretty sucky. But then again, the sync of the OneNotes between laptop and all this other good stuff is actually pretty cool. Oh yeah, and then as far as I'm gonna get cut out 30 seconds. E3 is overkill, especially for my use case. So I probably look at setting up a whole new tenant probably in a couple of weeks, a whole new tenant with Business Essential. Well, I think there is a Business Essential subscription that's going to give me exactly what I have on E3 minus the compliance stuff. That's what I've seen so far. But I'll keep you updated, let you know how things go. All right, see ya.